Well, are they coming home? Is President Obama sending a message to thousands of our troops in Afghanistan telling them to start packing? Here's what we know. President Obama is going to make an announcement tomorrow about plans to withdraw troops from Afghanistan. As many as 10,000 troops could be back home by the end of the year. But our next guest is saying, not so fast. Joins us Senator Lindsey Graham. Nice to see you, Senator. And is it fair to say that you're saying not so fast?
I am saying listen to General Petraeus and Secretary Gates. To anybody, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Vegetarian, you should have the wisdom to listen to General Petraeus. I do believe we can bring some troops home this year because of tremendous progress, not because we're war weary, but because the Afghans are getting better at their job, so we can bring some of the surge forces home this year. 10,000 would be too much. We sent 33,000 new troops about 17 months ago, and I want this fighting season to go well. If you take a third of them out between now and January, I think that would be too many. 5,000 this year, 5,000 next spring makes sense to me.
All right, so less than 10,000, but from what we understand, the president's got much more ambitious numbers about what he wants to bring home.
Well, my advice to the president, quite frankly, is let the guys and gals get the job done. We fought too hard. We've made too much progress. It's coming at a heavy cost. Don't leave Afghanistan until you get the job done. And the good news is we're well on our way to getting the job done. By 2014, I do believe the Afghan security forces can be in charge of their country. We've added 90,000 Afghan army and police forces in 17 months. There'll be 305,000 Afghans under arms by the end of this year, but they're not mature enough yet for us to just abandon them. So some withdrawal this year and some withdrawal next year based on conditions makes sense to me.
What is General Petraeus saying? Is General Petraeus saying less than 10,000, or is he saying close to the 30,000 the president?
I think we can bring 30,000 troops home by the end of 2012.
What does General Petraeus say?
General Petraeus, from my understanding, wants about 5,000 troops withdrawn this year, 5,000 troops next spring, and try to, at the end of 2012, get all the surge forces out.
Is that what President Obama is likely to announce tomorrow night?
I don't know. All I can tell you is that get the job done. Mr. President, I will stand by you as a Republican. If you'll listen to the General, listen to Secretary, how much more does this man, General Petraeus, have to do for the country before politicians will listen to it?
Well, what is the, I mean, let me ask you a question, because I sort of thought that everyone would listen to a successful commander. I sort of thought that everyone would listen to General Petraeus. Whatever he said, that we'd all go with. How much is this decision military, meaning the smart thing to do? How much is economic because we can't afford it? And how much is political because the Americans most Americans want these troops home?
Ask me that tomorrow night. Most Americans are war weary, including me, but I think all Americans understand that if Afghanistan goes badly and the Taliban come back, that the worst is yet to come. If they take that country back over, they're going to do the same thing to the Afghan people they did before. They're going to invite al-Qaeda back into Afghanistan, and we're going to get hit again. The key to leaving is for them to be able to defend themselves. My goal is to leave Afghanistan as soon as possible with the ability of the Afghans to fight in their own backyard, so we never have to go back.
What the report this week is that there are preliminary, I don't know what preliminary talks are with the Taliban. I think preliminary is the same thing as talks to the Taliban. Yeah. But I'm having a hard time understanding that. The Taliban, as I understand it, now I'll just pick one topic that's, because I've been there, I've been to Afghanistan, I've seen the women there not wanting the Taliban back. What kind of commitment can we or are we going to get out of the Taliban about even the treatment towards women?
John Bolton said last night you negotiate with the Taliban when they're on their back, they're on their knees. The 30,000 additional troops have taken the fight to the Taliban. They've been routed in the South. We have better security than I've ever seen. In September 2009, we were recruiting 800 people a month in the Afghan army. Now there's 6,000 a month in the army, 3,000 a month in the police. The Afghan people are beginning to be able to defend themselves. The way you reconcile with the Taliban is you do it under your terms, not theirs.
Well, if they are so debilitated by your description, if it's getting worse, why do we need to talk to them at all? Because
this is a civil war between Pashtuns. This is not a war all over Afghanistan. The southern part of Afghanistan, Kandahar, was for Mullah Omar. He was a Taliban leader.
He's still the Taliban leader.
Yeah, he's in Pakistan, so you don't do business with him. But the mid-level Taliban who do this for the money, who've been radicalized as young men, they can be turned around. We did the same thing in Iraq. How did you win Iraq? You took the irreconcilables off the battlefield. You gave a chance for young people to come back into the fold, and the next thing you know, you had a functioning army in Iraq, and we're able to withdraw and hold that country together.
Well, then, under your description, we just sort of squeezed the Taliban into Pakistan?
No, what you do is...
Is that what we did?
Yeah.
Is that where they are? They're not gone.
No, they're not gone. They're in strategic retreat, but they have been diminished. The average age of an Afghan commander, Taliban commander, is now 25. It used to be 35. Young people are beginning to join the Afghan army. They're beginning to abandon the Taliban. They're very weakened. They go to Pakistan, but we're hitting them there with a drone attack. So General Petraeus' plan is to protect the population, build the Afghan security forces. We have 305,000 forces available to defend Afghanistan, Afghan forces, by the end of this year. Another 50,000, and we can really bring troops home. My goal is to get our troops home so they never have to go back. And the way you reconcile with the Taliban is you tell them, lay down your arms, pledge allegiance to the Constitution, recognize the rights of people who are different than you. Then we will have a country called Afghanistan that will be our ally.
You make it sound so rosy.
It's not rosy.
No, but I mean, it seems like so smooth, so perfect, so everything.
You know why? You know why I'm optimistic?
Okay.
I go every 3 months.
You do, and you're going over the 4th of July?
I go every 3 months, and here's why I'm optimistic. The people in Afghanistan have the will to change their country. They don't yet have the capacity. Greta, I go there over and over again. They don't want to be run by the Taliban. They don't want to be run by Al-Qaeda. It was a miserable life. I go from one end of the country to the other, and everybody tells me that they don't want to go back to the darkness. They just don't yet have the capacity. The goal of winning this war on terror is to give people a chance to fight the terrorists in their own backyard so we don't have to go all over the world. That takes some time and effort.
And I so hope you're right. I know you're going back over the 4th of July, and we'll be listening to what I do the President.
It's not about me, it's about General Petraeus.
I understand that.
He has delivered. The security footprint in Afghanistan is totally different. The number of people in the Army and police force is grown beyond any expectation I had. We're well on our way to winning this if we don't undercut the general and our troops. Let them finish this job, and if you don't have the judgment to listen to General Petraeus, whether you're Republican or Democrat, I don't think you should be Commander-in-Chief.
Senator, thank you, sir. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Coming up is